Hi, I'm Ken and welcome to Melrose. Today we're going to be working with one of my favorite colors, and that's the color of purple or lavender. I love all the shades of purple, and one of the things that we have in our line is these bundles, and they're rose bouquets, a little bit of hydrangea in there, but they're a beautiful shade of lavender. And I'm going to show how versatile they are and how you can use them in lots of everyday work along with wedding work. And we're going to start also with a new vine that we have. This is a moss covered vine, and it's all wired. It's flexible, bendable, posable. It's got all the characteristics that I love in a stem because I can mold and shape and make it to what I want. And I've started some over here. As you see, it likes to tangle up, but we're going to start with it and just start making a coil. Just tie it together, almost like you're going to make a wreath in your hand. And we're just going to keep adding to it and just take the ends and twist it around so it holds it together, but let it go wispy and wild because that's going to be the beauty of this. I'm going to add another one in, wind it around. It's going to try to get tied up with all your other ones. As you can see, it's just becoming this gnarled mess, and that's what I'm looking for. I'm trying to make it look like it's a natural twig, almost a nest effect with all the extra vine and everything going with it. We're going to add a few extra in. As you can see, it's sort of making a wreath form. We're going to twist some of it together to hold it in place because I want it open and airy. See how it's becoming full but airy at the same time. I add a couple more here. To this back side, twist it together, and there. Now you've got sort of like this natural, wild looking nest wreath of this moss vine. Now I'm going to take all these extra pieces that are hanging off and coming out. I want to pull them out farther because I want to see how many of them I have. And then we're going to take these, just take a couple of them together and make a little coil out of it. That's going to be a support to hold our flowers later. Just use your fingers, wrap it around so you get a little coiling happening. Do it all the way around the wreath. We got about 5 or 6 going on. That should be enough. And now we're going to start with one of our bundles. We're going to take it apart. I love the bundles because you're getting shorter stems. That makes it easier to work with. We're going to cut some of the roses off and actually add them up into our little coils that we made. The coils act as little supports to hold the flowers, and I like how they get up a little bit above the tabletop. It suspends them in air a little bit, but it adds a little bit more character to it, and I think it makes it more interesting as a centerpiece. I'm going to keep these little buds together. Now we're going to cut one more bundle together, apart. We have a lot of bundles at Melrose in many different colors with ranunculus and other types of blossoms as well. And we're going to do this one the same way, but we're going to put a few of them down and lower, closer to the center of our vine. Take our new fieldwick candles, add them to there. There we go. Turn them all on. Let's move this candle over to this side. Add one more shorter one. I like grouping candles in threes, especially 3 different heights. But as you can see, now we have this more wild looking centerpiece, but the character and the beauty of it is how open and airy it is, and the roses come alive and they come up off the table. Our fieldwick candles, a bundle or 2 bundles of flowers, and some of our moss vine. I'm finishing up the head table here, and we've started with some of our bundles of the roses up high, just in clusters, to give me 3 major focal points. But the mechanics here, what I started with was that moss vine. Remember the one I just showed you where I coiled it and made the centerpiece? Well, this time I tied them together and made an elongated cascading garland. I clipped it onto the table, to the front of the table, and then I did the same trick with my finger and made little coils out of the little branches coming down, and that supported my falling roses. We're just going to add a few more in here, as you can see how easy and simple it is, how they hold it right in place. And you get that cascading or drippy feeling. I think this is so effective over the front of a head table. I could see you doing something like this maybe off a wall where the bride and groom's going to stand for a bunch of pictures. You could have it cascade 8 feet down, tying all the different vines together and just hand picking a few roses here and there. But there's so many different applications for this. The simple mechanics of taking that moss vine, tying it together, and then coiling it so it can hold all your individual blossoms. The look here is great. Again, we're featuring some of our new candles in the fieldwick. This is the tapers in ivory and white that blend very nicely with this whole look. And our Mr. and Mrs. sign in the back. No wedding can go without this sign. This is our new EkkoLight or Infinity Light sign, Mr. and Mrs., available only from Melrose. And finally, we added our centerpiece to the table with the 3 candles and a few of the vines coiled into a nice little wreath form and our blossoms suspended above. Melrose is the place that can bring any party alive with moss vines, a few bundles of our blossoms and flowers, and our fieldwick candles, and of course, Mr. and Mrs. EkkoLight.